Marhaba wa ahla wa sahla fikum. Hope you're all well and have a wonderful day. Welcome to another session of learning Levantine Arabic. In today's session, we'll be learning, as you see on the screen, 6 phrases to express shock, disappointment in people or towards a situation has happened. All these phrases are in Levantine Arabic, so hopefully you find them useful and helpful. And by the way, if you do enjoy these sessions and find them helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more and whack that like button as it helps the channel and this video quite a bit. So many thanks in advance. Our first phrase is Ya حيف. Ya حيف. The letter Ha, some of you might find it difficult, which is pretty much a stronger version of the letter H. So Ha is pronounced from the back of your throat. Try to close that cavity and try to press or push the air through. So it's Ha. Ha. You'll be really good with this letter if you like spicy food. So when you eat something spicy, you start to blow air. That's the kind of the natural reaction to it. So we say Ya حيف. And Ya حيف, as you see on the screen, it says what a pity, shame, poor him or her. And we've got an example for you. ما تخيلت إنه ممكن يغدر فيني. بعد 10 عمر سوا يا حيف. ما تخيلت, I didn't imagine, I didn't think. So تخيل is to imagine. تخيل, تخيل, it's a verb and it means to imagine or to expect or to think of something. So ما تخيلت إنه that ممكن, that it is possible or would. So غدر is to betray. غدر. So يغدر, that he betrays. فيني, me. So إنه ممكن يغدر فيني, he could betray me. بعد 10 عمر, after years. So عشرة, which refers to the years of, could be friendship, could be living together, could be partners. So it refers to a number of years that you have lived with somebody and somebody who's maybe quite close to you. As we know, we've all been there and it's only time to test people in friendship. سوا, together. So بعد 10 عمر سوا. And this is particular an expression we would always use it to refer to friendship, something that you have it together with somebody. يا حيف, what a shame, or what a disappointment, I did not expect that. ما تخيلت إنه ممكن يغدر فيني بعد 10 عمر سوا يا حيف. One final read. ما تخيلت إنه ممكن يغدر فيني بعد 10 عمر سوا يا حيف. Our next phrase, some of you might already know it. It's يا حسرة. يا حسرة, similarly to the previous one, obviously it's a different one in Arabic, but the overall meaning and translation in English or to you guys would be the same. Like, oh, what a pity, what a shame, poor him or her, or what a disappointment. I've got an example for you to look at it, a little bit long, but hopefully to help you to visualize how we would use it. So we've got يا حسرة, راح اشتغل برات البلد ولما رجع وحط مصاريه بالبنك وبعدها بفترة الاقتصاد انحسر بشكل كبير وخسر مصاريه كلها. A bit of a mouthful sentence and quite long, but I wanted you to visualize and understand how we use this expression or this phrase. So يا حسرة, what a pity, what a shame. راح اشتغل برات البلد. راح, he went. اشتغل, he worked. برات البلد, which means outside the country, but meaning abroad. ولما رجع, and when he returned, when he came back. وحط is to put, and obviously here is to deposit. مصاري, his money. بالبنك, at the bank, so he went to deposit his money at the bank. وبعدها بفترة, and shortly after that, بعدها, after it, so after the action. بفترة, and فترة, which refers to a period of time, unspecified. وبعدها بفترة, and shortly after that. الاقتصاد, the economy. انحسر, انحسر, which means to decline or shrink. So انحسر, which means to decline or shrink. بشكل كبير, which means greatly or dramatically. وخسر, and he lost. مصاريه, his money. كلها, all of it. And sadly, this is a true story. It happened in Lebanon. Somebody similar situation, worked for years abroad, and when he came back, put all his money in the banks, and sadly all went down the drain. The translation is below, but I'm going to read the sentence again for you. يا حسرة راح اشتغل برات البلد، ولما رجع وحط مصاريه بالبنك، وبعد بفترة الاقتصاد انحسر بشكل كبير وخسر مصاريه كلها. And I think this phrase is used as well in Turkish and Persian, and if I'm not mistaken, if it's used in Urdu on the same meaning. So do guys let me know if you use this phrase in your native language, and is it on the same meaning or used differently? Let me know. Our next phrase is Ya Haram. Ya Haram, similarly to the previous one, is like what a pity, what a shame, poor him, poor her. And you could always use it not towards people. It could be the situation or the circumstances surrounding the event. And we've got an example for you. Ya Haram, أحمد اشتغل لسنين مع هي الشركة من لما كانت صغيرة، وبعد ما صارت مشهورة بطلوه من الشركة. يا حرام, what a shame. يا حرام. يا حرام in this context, it means poor him or what a shame. أحمد اشتغل, Ahmed worked, لسنين for years مع هاي الشركة with this company. من لما كانت صغيرة, when it was very small, when they started the company, meaning when they started the company, it was merging. وبعد ما صارت مشهورة, and after it became famous, maybe it got bigger. وبعد ما صارت مشهورة, so مشهورة here it means famous. وبعد ما, after, صارت to become. وبعد ما صارت مشهورة, and after became famous, بطلوه من الشركة. They let him go from the company, so they fired him. بطلوه من الشركة, they let him go, or they fired him. I'm going to read the sentence again. The translation is below, and most of the translation is literal word for word translation. The overall meaning, it will be clear for you guys. يا حرام, أحمد اشتغل لسنين مع هي الشركة من لما كانت صغيرة، وبعد ما صارت مشهورة بطلوه من الشركة. So that's our third phrase, and it is يا حرام. Our fourth phrase is she بيزعل. She بيزعل. Something that it makes you upset. So she بيزعل on something that makes you upset, or what an upsetting, or what a disappointment to see something. It comes to a certain ending. So she بيزعل. It's very upsetting. We've got an example for you. جاري توفى بعد سنين معاناة من مرض السرطان. عن جد شي بيزعل وبيقطع القلب. الله يرحمه. جاري, my neighbor, توفى, passed away, بعد سنين, after years. معاناة, suffering. من مرض, مرض is illness, من is from the illness. السرطان is cancer. سرطان, which means cancer. عن جد, honestly, really. So this phrase, we've looked at it previously as well. I think one of my earliest tutorials, I looked at this phrase, عن جد, which means really or honestly, is used a lot in dialect. When we tend to use it to put emphasis or more emphasis on something that you find it shocking or unbelievable, like عن جد? Is it really? Do you believe this? So شي بيزعل, this is heartbreaking or heart-wrenching, and it's hard to witness or to see. وبيقطع القلب, which means heartbreaking. عن جد شي بيزعل or بيقطع القلب. So this phrase, it comes a lot with شي بيزعل, شي بيزعل وبيقطع القلب. It's really hard to see, and it's heartbreaking. Allah يرحمه, which means may he rest in peace. Let me read this example for you again. جاري توفى بعد سنين معاناة من مرض السرطان. عن جد شي بيزعل وبيقطع القلب. الله يرحمه. So that's our phrase. شي بيزعل. شي بيزعل. And obviously you could use it in different situations, like if somebody left work without telling you, for example, you thought you were close colleagues, let's say. So you'd say شي بيزعل هو ترك الشغل وما خبرني. هو ترك, he left الشغل work وما خبرني, and he didn't tell me. So you could say, oh, I mean, this is really upsetting. شي بيزعل, this is really upsetting. So you could use that as well. So the context or the situation or the event maybe isn't as strong as the sentence you see here in front of you, but it could be something as I mentioned earlier, a colleague has left work and it didn't tell you. So you could say, شي بيزعل, this is upsetting. Our next phrase is very much used in dialect, and it is ما هذا العشم. ما هذا العشم. ما هذا العشم, which means this is not what I had in mind of a person, or this is not what I expected from him or her, or maybe their actions did not meet what I have expected or had in mind of that person. So you would use this after explaining the situation. You would say ما هذا العشم, I did not expect that from him or her. ما هذا العشم. Let's have a look at this example. ما توقعت توصل الأمور للمحاكم مع جورج. ما هذا العشم. ما توقعت, I did not expect. توصل, to reach, الأمور, the events, للمحاكم, to courts, مع George, with George. I didn't expect or didn't make much of this, that everything's going to escalate that far, and we ended up in courts with George, so I didn't really expect that. ما هذا العشم, and again, there's something you didn't expect that thing to happen or to come from a person. So you would say ما هذا العشم after you explain it. This is the translation. So ما توقعت توصل الأمور للمحاكم مع جورج. ما هذا العشم. Our final phrase is كسرت ظهر. كسر, which means to break, and ظهر is back. So back breaking or heartbreaking, or what a shame. So كسرت ظهر, كسرت ظهر, back breaking, or what a shame, or heartbreaking. I've got an example for you. الله يساعد أبو مازن. كسر ظهره. خير شو صار؟ ابنه الوحيد سافر برات البلد. الله يساعد, may God help. Abu Mazen, it's the name of a person. As we know in the Middle East, always men or women are named after their first child. So Abu, which means the father, and Mazen, that's his son. So the father of Mazen. So let's say, for example, if we've got John, and John, his first child is Emily, so they would call him Abu Emily, the father of Emily. And it happens a lot in the Middle East where you know somebody by the name of their first child, so you could call somebody Abu Muhammad, the father of Muhammad, and after years of living, let's say, next to each other, you don't know the actual name of that person, and it could be John. And the reason being because people don't tend to call that person with their name, and they would tend to call them with the name of their firstborn child, whether it's a boy or a girl. Allah يساعد Abu Mazen, may God help Abu Mazen, the father of Mazen, so Mazen's his son. كسر ظهره, back-breaking, heartbreaking, what a shame. And then the other person would say, خير شو صار? Oh God, what happened? خير, which means good, I hope everything is good. شو صار? What happened? And the response is ابنه الوحيد, his only child. سافر, traveled. برات البلد, outside the country, so somebody who traveled abroad. The translation is below, but we've got the sentence. I'm going to give it another read. الله يساعد أبو مازن, كسر ظهره. خير شو صار? What happened? ابنه الوحيد, his only son. سافر, moved or traveled. برات البلد, abroad. Why this situation is dramatic? Well, as we know, in the Middle East, we don't have anything called care homes. And in this instance, for example, we've got an elderly or a parent who's aging or getting old. Most people do expect from their kids to look after them, so they will ended up their carers. And I guess I know some of you may be against it or against the idea. Some of you may say no, they should look after their parents. So here it's a debatable, depends on what you think. Do let me know what you think of that topic. But yeah, so this topic by itself, or in this sentence, some of you might ask, well, oh, why this is a heartbreaking news? Is because of that. So it depends. It depends what people think, because in the Middle East, for example, we don't have care homes or elderly homes where if somebody gets old or gets diagnosed with something, you send them to a care home and somebody else looks after them. In the Middle East, we do not have something as such. Your kids will look after you regardless of what happens. So it's a duty for us to look after our elderlies. I don't know if any other countries, but to my knowledge, I think Egypt is the only country that has this system or elderly homes. But in Syria, Palestine, Jordan, North Africa, this thing or the system does not exist at all. So coming back to the sentence, if some of you may ask why this sentence is dramatic, or why would you use this phrase here, is because of that situation. So his only son had traveled, and that is heartbreaking news for somebody who's getting old. Especially in many Middle Eastern countries, they don't have pension. So the pension that you get it from the state, we do not have that pension. Great, guys, and with this I'll end today's tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it, found it helpful, and learned some new phrases to add it to your list of phrases and vocabulary to memorize. Don't forget to practice them and make some sentences and engage with these posts, as it helps the video, and suggest it to other people. It depends on the amount of reaction that it gets. So don't forget to comment, don't forget to like and subscribe and support the channel, so hopefully we could make more videos for everybody. With that, I'll end today's session. Till next time, stay safe. Ma salame.